ॐ श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ॐ तच्छयोरावृणीमहे गातुर्यज्ञाय गातुर्यज्ञपतये दैवी स्वस्तिरस्तु नः स्वस्तिर्मानुषेभ्यः ऊर्ध्वं जिगातु भेषजम् शन्नो अस्तु द्विपदे शञ्चतुष्पदे ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरिः ॐ.
Good evening, everyone, and a warm welcome to all of you. Today, we have gathered here to celebrate the spirit of entrepreneurship and innovation. I'm honored to be here as the host of this event, which is an initiative by our IEI cell. The Innovation Entrepreneurship Incubation Cell is a platform that provides a perspective, a support, and resources to aspiring entrepreneurs to help turn their ideas into successful business in future. Here in IESL, we invite industry experts, people with unique skill sets and talents to share their experience with the budding entrepreneurs of future India. I would like to invite you to take a look at a short video that captures essence of our IEI cell and its vision, in addition to numerous after-school student initiative programs and activities. Now, I would like to welcome Swami Muktidanandaji Maharaj, Adhyaksha of Sri Ramakrishna Mutt and Mission Mysuru, Swami Yukteshanandaji Maharaj, correspondent of Sri Ramakrishna Vidyashala, Swami Mahipalanandaji Maharaj, and Sri S. Balaji Sir, principal of Sri Ramakrishna Vidyashala Mysuru. And now, I'm thrilled to introduce you our guest speaker for today, Mr. Arnab Sengupta. He is a well-rounded and highly educated individual with a wealth of knowledge and experience in various fields. His educational background, which includes a Bachelor of Arts from Delhi University, a Masters of International Business Trade from Indian Institution of Foreign Trade, and an MBA from University of Cambridge, gives him a great mastery over economics, business, and finance. In addition, his executive MBA in Business Administration and Management from Stanford highlights his commitment to continuous learning and self-improvement. This, combined with his experience as a transformational leader, growth strategist, risk and financial management consultant, makes him a valuable asset to any organization. Arnab Sir has varieties of leadership roles throughout his career, including Project Manager of Abu Dhabi Development Holding Company, Regional Director in Kuwait Food Company, Director of Exports in Thai Union Group, and is currently the Deputy Chief Executive Officer in JMB International of Thailand. Before we begin, we would like to celebrate the hard work and dedication of our students who participated in the Science and Creativity exhibition held on 24 December 2022. This event recognizes and rewards outstanding projects created by our students and provides a platform for them to showcase their talents in their interested fields. Now, we will be distributing books of the winner's choice as a token of appreciation for the award-winning performance in the exhibition. This is a wonderful opportunity for the students to expand their knowledge and deepen their understanding in the subject that they are interested in. This ceremony will also feature the prizes for Best Essay on Educational Excursion, recognizing the students who have excelled in writing who have excelled in writing skills and about their educational experience and insights. This competition serves as a platform for the students to showcase their writing skills as well as their creativity and critical thinking abilities. In addition, the prize distribution ceremony will also include prizes for Knowledge Fest by Library Department, which recognizes the students who have excelled in acquiring new knowledge, memorization, and treasure hunting skills. This competition highlights the importance of lifelong learning and encourages the students to continue their quest for knowledge and intellectual growth. Overall, the prize distribution ceremony is a significant event that recognizes the achievements and contributions of the students and provides them with sense of pride and accomplishment. It is a wonderful opportunity to celebrate the achievements of the students, to acknowledge their hard work and dedication. So to begin with the exhibition prizes under the astronomy department, the following boys stand out as winner. Chiranjeevi Lochan Vishnu CS, Sumuk N. Coming next, under the Department of History, Pranav M. Gowda, Tushar KV, Samarth Gowda, Abhay Karthik, Omkar Maruti, Tanmay MN. Now, Now, under the Department of Mathematics, Nagatanmay K.R., Janan Bilyappa, Prithvi Mandal, Shashank B.N., Shaurya. There will be group photo after this, so all the winners are requested to stay in the backstage. Coming next, under the Department of Chemistry, Gagan M. Hiremani, Yajat H.C., and Venkat Sai Charan. Now we would request our principal S. Balaji sir to hand over the prizes. Now, under the Department of Physics, Tanush P. and Parinit. Then, under the Department of Biology, Pancham CS and Srivatsa B. Coming next, under the genre of tinkering and robotics, Samarth Belluru, Likit NR, Sarthak S. Katti, and Yugwan. Corresponding Swami. Now, I would request our correspondent Swamiji to hand over the prizes. Now, under the Department of Nature Club, Gautam Nayak, Purna Chandra, and Chirag. Coming next, under the Department of Science and Innovation Lab, Aditya RG, Ayush Jain, Naren SK, that's me, Adyot Shriram, Satvik SP, and Shubhang. I would request Swami Mahipalanandaji Maharaj to hand over the prizes. Coming next, under the Department of Fine Arts, Shashank BN, Basavraj SJ, Likit NR, and Megvardhan BR. Now, prizes for the boys who had written the best essays on their experience in educational excursion. Basavaraj has the first prize and Likit Anna the second. Coming next under the Department of Library, Knowledge Fest winners Aryan Preetham, N- Anagnag, Sanjay Tej JS, Tanmay MN, Tejas KR. All the boys are requested to come forward for group photo. our guest speaker, Mr. Arnab Sengupta, to deliver his talk.
Thank you. Thank you, Naran. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Reverend Swamijis, for giving me this big honor. I thank you for IT team to organizing this, structuring, linking me up. It's unfortunate that I'm not there with you because there's a lot of learning from you student friends, which I am not getting. So it's my big loss. And I hope I'll get an opportunity and Swamijis will allow me to spend some time with you in the coming months or sometimes when I am there at the Vidyashala, because I really would like to interact and learn much more from you. And that's something, it's my loss over here. But I wanted to share something when Swami Mahipalananda has been speaking to me about entrepreneurship and what I feel about it. Now, you have lots of people from various age group. So some of them may be interesting for some senior boys. Some concepts may not be that interesting for the junior guys. I'm just placing forward some thoughts. It's a dipstick for me to understand from you. I would like to speak for about 15-20 minutes and give another 15-20 minutes for getting questions or some feedback or some thoughts from your end. And unfortunately, I will be there with you for another 45 minutes because there is a meeting which I wasn't expecting. I have to also go for running the business and the people that I work for. So being Sunday that you have come here, I'm very thankful for that. Okay, I'll start my presentation, which let me first share my screen. Let's see. No, it's not showing. So I'll share. Just one second. Let me see if I can share a window and it works. Okay. So basically, the topic that I've been given to, you can hear me, right? Hello?
Yes, all of us can hear you very clearly.
And you can see the presentation. And the presentation is on the screen?
Yes, all of us can see that. Yes,
perfect.
Thank you.
Perfect. So I'll take you through from slides, some points. So basically, we are talking, the topic given to me to talk about was entrepreneurship. And the area I would like to explore is many paths to excellence. It resonates very well with what Thakur taught us. When being a Bengali in every household, we have been taught Jotopot, Totomot, Jotomot, Totopot. So yeah. So that's something I wanted to share with you is looking at even on creativity, education in various ways that would come in. So let's first take what's entrepreneurship. The word entrepreneurship, as defined and taught in many of our business schools, means creating new ideas of business. And an entrepreneur is a person who takes the risks to put this in the market. This has become a very important word now, and lots of companies look at something they call entrepreneurship, which is that in-house in the companies, they would like to stimulate this emotion of creating new business ideas. So by definition, entrepreneurship means looking at an original perspective that may result in a new idea. So basically having a point of view, a new point of view that would generate a new idea, which we call creating value. And then there's a second part of it called capturing value. So I won't get into all those details, and if somebody wants it, we will have other classes on it, but I just want to touch a few basic points about this thing. So what it says is having a point of view or a perspective. And how can we create a perspective? We need to know exactly what's around us. We have that awareness of how people are moving around, what are this current situation in, and then create this perspective value in it. Many paths to excellence is something I need to learn from you. So I leave that for our next discussion when I am there and get that from you. So basically the outline of our discussion today we will start with education. Education, the way we are taught. Now, you are very lucky to have a much broader and a much detailed scope of studying, being in such beautiful organization. Rest of us, we are part of CBSE, ICSE curriculum, where we are taught, just books by teachers. We do not have such amazing Swamis with us to give us much more perspective. So we'll talk a bit about the education, this thing. But it is also very worthwhile, this education that you are doing. See, everything has got a positive and negative, a different way of looking at it, and all is important. As Steve Jobs had said, it's the connecting the dots that happen later in your life to create something new. Okay, so even from these education that we are taught now in a normal school, we have a lot of lessons to learn. Then we will wanted to talk about the market value and people value, how we link those things to create innovative ideas, and then how to scale it. Now, the last 2-3 topics would take much more time and much more detail in getting a business or entrepreneurship or things like that, that we will keep for some other class. Let's talk about the current education model that we have. Basically, the current education model is something that has started from the industrialized world. When world became the industrialization happened in the early 18th to 19th century, that's when the education model that we follow has come in. And this is sort of a very important learning approach. It creates a mental framework. So people may say, why should we do maths? Because I'm more inclined on the arts and I'm more inclined on the other things. What maths really teaches you is, or how much, if somebody would ask me, and my daughter often asks me, how much of the trick that you learned, Dad, you use in your day-to-day life? And I do not use any of those tricks, honestly. I do not use any of the calculus. But what it has helped me is to form a problem-solving approach. What it helps me is to look at a problem, not get scared, read it again, and problems come in all forms and shapes, even in business. For me, a market is not opening up, or I'm not creating revenue, or I have to do something, how to penetrate the market. All those ideas come in. I know how, I have some skills or whatever you call it to handle it. So I look at the problem, I look at how, what to attack or approach first, and how to try to get a solution to that. I also know that there are many solutions to the same problem, and many of them has different impacts on later lives or how things are happening. So this is the good thing about what our education system or the structures teaches us. The challenging part of our education system, or what we currently do in India, is that we are taught a lot of information that nowadays has gone into computers. I remember myself being, when I was growing up, of your age or much younger to you, guests would come, cousins would come, we would have to wrote out the times table, 10 times 13, and a cousin would say, I know 13, and somebody would say, I know 16 times table. Now those things, yes, we have been taught, but then what's important is to know the concept of what is happening in multiplication. The calculators are doing those calculations for us now, but we need to be now more creative to create value, knowing that multiplication structure and how to use that to create more value and more business and more models. So this is basically the thought and structure I had on current education system. We are all going through, it's very important to have it. It has some limitations, so you be aware of it, and you can be you can take your own conditions and thoughts. Like today on a Sunday, you are spending time learning something different that is not in your course or your curriculum, and that's something that's really required in the current education system. It is an amazing system to give you the confidence of learning, the problem solving approach, giving you the framework, the mental framework, how to tackle things in life. So basically, everything that you go in and to go forward, I feel, and these are my questions, that you should start with the basic 3 questions of any entrepreneurship or any idea or any motivation that you're going for. So this is something very important I would like to share with you is, You may have lots of ideas. It's new. You are young people who are getting into this world. You have the advantage of create capturing value through internet. You have the advantage of connecting to much bigger masses, bigger people. Meant few years back when I was growing up, if we had a concept, I could only do it to the people around in my colony. So let's see, like, my mother would make some achar or something like that. She could give it to her friends. She could start a business by giving it to the society or the kitty party or the people she knew, and that's it. Little later, we started corresponding. She would give it to the whole colony. She could put up a small ad in the this thing in a notice board, and people would know that, okay, my somebody is making achar, let's buy it. But today she can give her achar through the whole of the city, and then you have companies like Donzo's delivering it for you. So your reach has picked up. You can scale. Your ideas can be taken to the people. You don't need to think only locally or be small about it. And that's an amazing advantage you have in this generation, the connectivity that digitalization has brought, which I'll be speaking to you a little later about. So first thing, when you have any idea in your mind, you should start by thinking the why question. Why you want to do it. Okay, why it should make a difference. So let's see a couple of companies that is very good in doing the why question. Apple has, why are you in this business? They don't say that we make computers, because they're in the music business also. They are now into movies, this, that, whatever, many things. They say we want to challenge the status quo, right? Why is Nike in business? Today I googled before this meeting to see what is their latest approach. Their latest thing of why is to support you support you united by the joy of movement. So basically, why is Nike in business? Nike is united by the joy of movement. It had began earlier in its career, and we are taught a lot about Nike because he is also Stanford graduate, MBA, and the building that we study in is called the Knight Management Institute. So a bit bias over that. So the question, he was at that point of time when he started, he wanted be to a support of people who wanted to run, to enlight that passion that you have in your whatever sports activity you wanted to do. But now it's united to the joy of movement, because we all want to do some exercise. We all want to be some more out there, out in the nature, than staying home. So these are the why questions, which is very important first to understand. We can do what we want to do, how we want to do, but the first is why you are in this business, or why you want to do this business. Then who will you impact? Your impact happens on two levels. It happens on the people that you are marketing it for, and who will understand the value for this, and for whom this product will add value to them. And then the other one is the people in your team who will believe in you, that yes, this can create value in and be part of this story. So you have to be very clear who are your outside people, the customers you're impacting with your product, your why, and who are your inner people whom you have to get into the team, get them into feeling the same thoughts that you have, and run or walk the mile with you. Then you come to the third question, which is much easier. How are you going to take this thing forward? How will you impact? How will you take your impact or your vision forward? What are your steps? How are you going to do? And those are something else of detailed structures are there. We have ways of doing things like problem solving, like, again, this is where the problem solving approach comes in. Is you took a maths question, you look, okay, these are the variables, this is known, this is unknown, can we come to that, put them on the left side, look for what's not there on the right side, things that we are taught. That's the how part, which we can, if you want, talk at some other point of time. So basically, this was the why question, but I think so. I had moved the slide a bit away, but I'll continue a bit forward on it. So one of the things that made me very conscious and was a book by Peter Senge, and that's a thought I just want to share with you because I thought there are a couple of thoughts that will be good to share at your age, because this world, the way my parents have worked on it, is very different today. Okay, and you need to be very careful how things are connected. You should be aware of the thoughts that people have. One of the statements that I'm putting forward in front of you is the problems of today are solutions of yesterday. It's not my statement. It is a gentleman by the thought of MIT professor Peter Senge, and he has brought into the systems thinking approach to the world. So basically, the idea which you are more aware of than me is we are all interconnected. In this world, it's a system that is working. So anything that happens today has its impact on us at a later point of time. The previous generation, 1940s or 1900 onwards, the idea was take a problem, cut it into pieces, and look at the solving one piece at a time. And if you solve each of this problem one piece at a time, you can have a good answer to your problem. That has resulted in a lot of catastrophes because we could not understand or realize the interconnectivity of things. Climate change is one of them. In the previous days, we would just produce something, and then we realized after so many years that, oh, there is interconnectivity in this world and how things work. Previous years in the 1940s and 50s, the market was pretty slow. When I grew up, I remember I saw Star Wars movies maybe about 4-5 years later than it used to release in US, at least 2 years after it would release in USA. Today, we watch Star Wars in India before it gets released in USA. 5D digitalization and transformation has connected this world. We are much, much smaller. And now we can see the impact, and you will realize as you grow up of all the consequences, and the impact are so quick and so fast that that you have to be really aware of the system thinking of approach. So whenever you're thinking of any problem or projects, or you're getting into entrepreneurship ideas, you have some ideas where you think you can add value to the humankind, you can add value to certain customer pockets. Always think of the whole structure, think of it as the interconnected world, as a systems thinking. And I think so that's the thought I would like to leave with you guys to think about on totality of the business. 5G revolution and the connectivity that we have come to today's world is as diverse, as revolutionary as motorcar revolution that happened in the 1900s. I have a picture I wanted to share with you. If you look at the one on the left, it is a 1900 parade of Easter parade in New York, and a similar parade in 1913 is on the right. If you look in the parade of 1900, you will see there are only horse carts, and there is one or two, I think so somebody counted it and said there were 3 cars in that parade on the left side. It's all horse cart. By 1913, the whole revolution had happened. It was all motor cart. There is 1 or 2 horse car given in this street picture of 1913. So a similar revolution is happening with us now. The whole economy is changing. People, so in 1900, there were people who were making cartwheels, people who were cleaning up the roads after the horses would spoil those roads. Those all jobs have gone. There were people now in the motor car industry. So there's a whole change. A lot of businesses that you could not do because of transportation distances, because horse cart would take so much time. Now you could do it on cars. You could deliver much faster. You could bring fresh fruits and vegetables from very far off. So the whole idea of looking at the world, looking at the businesses have changed of this motor car revolution. And I would say a similar thing is happening with interconnectivity that you have got. With one Google map, you have now Uber delivering you taxis which you would stand in front of your street and have another one in their next corner street, and you would never know it's there, and you would stand in the sun. Now that taxi has an access through Uber. You have spread out your reach, as I was saying before, through internet. Now my mother can give her achars to so many people in the town. Similarly, the taxis can come to you. The food service thing that Zomatos have started delivering, they have such a big reach because of this revolution that we have in all our hands and pockets. So that's something important to look at and start creating value. So what is this digital revolution bringing into us? This digital revolution is bringing in a different sort of efficiencies. It's taking out inefficiencies that were there in the market, in the supply chain, because of not having online real-time connectivity. So that's the big thing that you're bringing in. So that's basically the ideas that I wanted to just touch upon. Now that you're getting into, if you are going into entrepreneurship, as I had mentioned many times earlier, creativity, the idea of entrepreneurship is to create value, to think in a different perspective, to have a different point of view. And unfortunately, our education system that I was referring to you before is implementing imperial industrialization processes where they need standardized idea, standardized test you have, standardized SAT you have. I had a very strange experience. Like a few months back, I was studying in in Stanford for a couple of 3-4 months, and we had the first interaction was that we make a bicycle. So we were given a bicycle in broken up parts, and we were teams, and there were about 20 teams, and we were all making bicycles, tying it up, and as a team building spirit. And then we had to market our bicycles. And it was so strange that all of us were speaking on the same round of freedom, having a bicycle. The bicycles are good for environment. So all our mind and our thoughts are structured in the same way of thinking around the globe, where anywhere you come, because of the system of education. We do not celebrate diversity that we have in people. And you are very lucky to be in a school that does it, that education system that we have. You have the curiosity of people that is still enlightened, and the creativity. I was so happy that you were giving out prizes for fine arts and other things that were there in those presentation that you made me a part of. That really shows that the variety and the width of things that you as students in the school can have and are lucky to have. One of the ideas of topics of in entrepreneurship I would just like to touch on, and I will not go much into it, and just to give you a flavor, because today I just wanted to explore things that would it be interesting, and I would like your feedback through Swamiji, if you would like me to speak more about it, or you don't want me to ever to hear from me again, all is fine. I really am very happy to get this opportunity to share some thoughts with you. Is something called design thinking. So this is a concept that is there on you'll need for entrepreneurship. It helps a tool. A design thinking is a tool, a structure that helps you. And after design thinking, I will also take you through an adaptive process of innovation, which is just an idea I will put through, that there is always an alternative way of looking at things, which is a very mechanical, which is a very process-driven thing. So both are there and both are right. It's just the way you want to behave, what you think to be more creative. For both people are there. So design thinking believes that everybody has creativity, and it just helps you to set the behavior, the mindset that allows us to be more efficiently using of a natural creative ability of problem solving. So design thinking goes through these 5 processes: empathize, define, ideate, prototype, and test. So it's a pretty circular process, and you have to do it many times repetitively. The main part of design thinking's concept is empathize. What was happening till now, the approach of problem solving or things, we would go and ask people, okay, do you have a problem? Can you not do this? What's your problem? People cannot articulate their problem. It's very difficult for human beings to articulate the problem. Many of them do not understand, which I will explain in the next slide. And even if they understand the problem, there is a challenge for articulation because of social pressure, peer pressure, you asking people in front of it. So design thinking starts with the concept of empathizing. So you have to be with the person. You need to work with the person, observe, interview, immerse, engage with the person to understand what are the challenges the person is facing. And then my next slide will give you an approach to look at how you want to empathize about it. Then you need to define and get a structure, because unless you define it, you will be all around. You will not be able to work on a certain problem, because there will be many layers of problems, many issues evolving, and there you need to filter it out and define what is the core or what you want to solve from. Then get ideas. Develop as many solutions as possible for this unmet need of the person. Often we take one idea, find a problem and we want to do with one idea, and we say that, oh, let's work with this idea. Oh, we have a solution for it. You haven't got a solution. Let this idea be as difficult, different, wild, scary that you want for this problem. Put it down. Give respect to all your ideas, and then from there, certain ideas you prototype. You try to make this product out of it. Depends upon the money you have, the resources you have, the time you have, things like that. You prototype, you get a rough draft of the idea, you design it, make it out of pencils, make it out of little paper, and make a bigger model, a real model. Take one thing, test it with the people again. Go and ask the consumer, the person you're talking, the people you want to solve something problem for. Ask them, get them for another round of empathy work, find their feelings, get back to them. So, and that's the way it goes on, circulating thing. And it's not a straight linear thing. Everything is a circular thing. It goes back and back and back. And that's how you come and define your problem. And you never come and end to it. Even if some point of time you bring a product into the market, it's always after a few months you have to empathize and repeat what it is. The reason I was talking to you about empathizing is basically, as a human nature, our process of need finding, there is a lot of implicit needs that we have inside, which is very difficult for us to understand and articulate. You, in the company of such big gurus, maybe it's easier for you, but for general people like us, it's very difficult. We have our explicit needs that we have, and then we have the implicit needs, which is really the big part, like an iceberg, much below the deeper part of it, which we need to empathize and understand and get out. One of the ways of tools that we have is Maslow's hierarchy, which says that, as people grow, so we have certain needs that, and the needs go up. So your basic needs is rest, food, and shelter. So from there you come to safety. You need a safe house, safe environment, safe places to express yourself. Then you have belonging, that you belong to a community, you belong to your family, you belong to your needs. So if you're hungry, if you had, you don't have a place to stay, and you have a lot of belonging, doesn't work. You have to first secure your lower level needs, and then you go up. Then you have self-esteem, yourself, and the final is self-actualization, where you realize what you want to do. You are problem solving for others. You are supporting what your heart wants to do. So that's the Maslow's thing, which is basically, so all the things that we show, and we show our explicit needs, have got a deep inside meaning of the implicit needs that people cannot articulate. Let's take this example that we always talk about, and I think this picture of a little girl. Now she is trying to get a book. So what does she need? You will very say, oh, she needs a ladder to get that book. Yes, she needs a ladder. But why does she need a ladder? She needs a ladder to get a book. But does she need a book? Do we have a solution is a ladder, or a solution maybe now there's iPad? Should we bring the books below to her? So it depends on how you solve her problem. And why does she need the book? She'll discover her purpose. So is it only through books that she's going to learn, or through experience, through other things? So basically that's the question. So looking at this picture, you might say, oh, let's get her a ladder and solve the problem. Or you might look at her and say, okay, she needs information. Can we get her through other means, by an iPad or other things? There are other ways to learn. And then you ask the other question, why she wants to learn? She wants to define her purpose. Is learning through books the only way, or there are other ways? So that's the question that comes in finding your explicit need. Then there's the solution, again the question of why that's there. So that's basically one way of looking at a problem through design thinking. I'm just touching on the base. The other is a very structured form of thinking. It's a process of creativity and innovation. Basically questions like, you take a product that's worked and you can then subtract things from it or add things from it. You all know Facebook, right? So after Facebook, you have the Snapchat and Twitter. What it is just Facebook with certain of its products left out. And then a new product is developed. So you're creating, you're innovating, but on the basic structure. Both these ideas work. both these ideas has made Twitter an amazing product. The idea generation, system thinking, you has generated lots of beautiful products that are there. Your shoes, your salts, athletic sports shoes, lots of things come on that process. So both of the processes are there. So creativity can be innovation can be a creative process, as well we can have a structured template. So I will take you through those details. It needs to go through a certain process of understanding this to people who are there and interested. But I just wanted to touch a base to say that, there are many paths to approach to a problem. Just like in maths, you have many paths of solving a problem. Everything in life, every creative process, anything can have and everything is correct. The last thing I wanted to talk about is product life cycle, but I will keep it away from the next session sometimes. I think I have given a lot. Swamiji had told me that, a lot of them are very young students. So I will stop my sharing now of my presentation and take you back for some questions from your side, some feedback you would like to know, anything else. If you would like to also hear more about these detailed topics, you're welcome to have a future correspondence with smaller team. I'm available for anything. Thank you, everybody, for your time. I really appreciate that.
Thank you, Arnab ji. That was a wonderful presentation, and you captured our students' attention also. It was a couple of new concepts which the students needed to go through that. And I'm sure that there'll be some interesting questions. Before we go to their questions, I just wanted to, start off with a lot of students here. We have this, the mindset of engineering and medical. People either go to engineering streams or medical streams, and you coming from a different stream and have achieved that a strata of success. How do you place yourself in this technical field, and how do you kind of want to give advice to those youngsters who are looking for something different than the conventional engineering and medical streams? Arnabji.
Okay, so this is my point of view. Okay, and as I said, there is always a point of view. You have to discover your own path and what you want to do. I would say engineering thing only helps you to a certain extent to have a structured approach to problem solving, and that puts you in also a box and limits your ideas. Creativity comes from thinking differently, right? Just take today. When I was in IFT, I think so 70% of my friends were engineers who have done various engineering degrees. And they were in IFT doing nothing of engineering, right? They're doing MBA. We were fighting to get into Unilevers, or selling with toothpaste, as my professors would say, or being commodity traders where we were selling rice and sugar. So where is engineering in that? It is basically, it helps us to have a structured thinking. Yes, that's there, but that comes from various points of view. I would say you would really look for what you would like to create and what you're good at. And that's a big discovery, that you have to go through. And it's a challenging discovery because in India, we are not allowed to do a lot of things, explore while we are students. Unfortunately, that's the structure, but we need to take our way out, and you will feel inside what you're good at and how it works out for you. So I'm not an engineer. I am running companies which we are creating solutions. We are looking at problems. We are solving things, and those things are there because of just the creativity approach that I have in me. So I would really tell you that if you're really into engineering, you should remain with engineering. Engineering is a way of problem solving. Yes, you're looking at the physics, you're looking at the chemistry, and you're defining, using that to define and find solutions for a problem for human beings. That's what engineering is. So yeah, my thing is, if you really want engineering, then do engineering. If you're not, the others also is do. But whatever you do, you be good at it. So, you should know and have that interest to learn more and get in details of it.
So we'll have some questions from the audience. Students, please introduce yourself, your class, and then you can ask the question. Thank you.
So good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening, sir. I am case studying in standard 12, sir. So my question for today is it worth doing MBA, sir? Because many people have their different opinions about MBA, sir. So that's
See,
all.
It helps. See, if you have a very creative idea, okay, and you really want to do, see, if you look at all the people with creative idea of Microsoft or Steve Jobs, anybody, they're not even college graduates. They left college. At least at the end, it's the market that values you. What MBA does is that there were some professors. They went and saw how things are happening, and they put it in some structure and some this thing, and you know how to do it. Okay, so let's take very simple thing of cooking. Okay, because I'm putting it in concept because most of us know. We have seen our parents cook. Mothers cook. They put some salt. They put this thing, and then you have recipe books that has observed your parents cooking, and they have put this menu card in. Right now, MBA is like that. It's that recipe book that has been done by professors to show you, oh, you can cook by heating the temperature, you can cook in a microwave, you can cook in a gas stove, you can do something like that, right? But if you are creative and you know how to cook, you will cook. Your parents have been doing it for all these years. So now it depends on how you feel about yourself. Can you cook that amazing food and it comes in you? Then you don't need to do an MBA. Some things that I would strongly say you to learn is when you're doing business, and that was what topic that I have left out. There are so many other parameters that a business needs. It's just not a concept. So, like if you want to cook, you need to learn about the vegetables. You need to learn how to soak. You know what happens when you're soaking. You need to learn of some other chemicals that are there, like the salt, how it reacts, or sometimes you put soda to cook something. Things change on that. When you cook during winter, certain foods or a higher altitude, it's different. So similarly, in any business or anything, you have finance, you have market, you have how human beings around you interact, and so that is something. If you're really interested, you will learn all that through touch, feel, understanding, or you do an MBA where it is given in a more structured manner. That if your water is ice water, you do this. If your water is at a lower temperature, bring it up. So those recipes are there. So my story is, it's not mandatory, but I would recommend MBA because it's an easy way out. Makes sense? Or makes you more confused? If it makes you more confused, then you can have my email or my this thing, and we can have a separate talk about it.
Thank you, sir.
You're more confused?
No, sir, I'm not, sir.
You're not more confused. So basically, MBA helps as a recipe. It's easier to do, but it's not mandatory. If you really have it in you, you will be very good. If not, a normal guy, it's easier to take recipes and put 250 grams of rice, 250 grams of sugar, and then make your whatever you're cooking. So that's the only difference.
Thank you so much, sir.
Good evening, sir. I am Anmol from First PUC. So after the announcement of the annual budget, sir, our FM has told the large cap and blue chip companies to kind of venture with the small startups. So how do you think it will help in the growth of the national economy?
See, what happens is the small startups, a lot of new innovations and ideas cannot be created by the big companies. Okay. So they cannot, basically, big companies have invested a lot of money in what they're doing now. And it's very difficult for them to shift gears and start something new. There's a structure, there's a way it works. So what of these big companies, they start, incubation laboratories where they can experiment and try new things. They can help these new concepts and new ideas to put in. It's very difficult for a big company to do something very risky and very different. Let's thinking. I would not expect a Zomato could have been started by a very big Tatas or the Birlas. Okay. They are now taking over such companies. Like you have this delivery company in Big Bazaar that Tata's has bought. That could not have been started by Reliance or something at the very beginning, because they have a concept of supermarkets and big departments, and Reliance stores are there. I don't know what is Bangalore's stores you have, but you have some big supermarket chain. So that's the challenge. So those big companies are supposed to help, and that's how they create and scale up and help these economies to grow.
Thank you, sir.
Two more questions. I think one question we can have from the junior section.
Sir, I'm Angad. I'm from 8th standard, sir. Sir, when you did your MBA, sir, what was your experience, sir, and how did it help you in life? Basically, how will it help you in your life?
Okay, Angad, call me Arnab. Okay, I just like to be called Arnab because we are all equal, and for me we are. Okay, so you want to know about MBA and how it helped me in experience in life. MBA, again, as I said, helped me with understanding the recipes. It helped me to learn in a very short time a lot of other business avenues. So doing, like to teach you, your teachers need to know, but then you need somebody to clean your table, somebody is opening your door, somebody is giving the construction, right? That's how the whole school has set up. It's just not one teacher and the student. There's a whole ecosystem around it. And to run, your principal has to understand all this department, not only teaching, right? So MBA helps you with all these other departments' knowledge very quickly. Your principal can understand that by experience also, that he will say, oh yeah, but then there's a problem that he hasn't got somebody to do the gardens, and the gardens become, the trees are growing and things like that. Then the principal will learn, oh, I need a gardener. But then when you do an MBA or a course like that, that tells you all these problems together. So that really helps me not to do many mistakes, or be aware of that I need a gardener also in a school. When I'm starting a school, I may not think about it. I will just think about the teachers. So that's the MBA advantage in it. And that's what I feel it helps, that I know that, oh, I need a gardener, I need school bus, I need drivers, I need this to run a school. A school is just not teachers and students. Gives you some idea what I'm trying to communicate?
Yes,
Thanks.
sir.
Good evening, sir. My name is
Good
Pradeep.
evening.
I am from.
My name is Arnab.
My name is Pradeep. I am from 10th standard. My
Right.
question is, which is the best MBA college and how to join it?
Best and worst are all in your mind. It's just something that you're given. So it depends on what you want to do. Everything is good. All you need is the people around you. See, MBA is a piece of, these are books, right? These are, knowledge is available on YouTube, knowledge is available on other social media, which you're very lucky now to have access to. You can buy books and get it. Your MBA thing that is there depends on how you want to do, what you want to do, who are your friends and people around you. So, various colleges focuses on various things. The knowledge is the same. It's how you interpret and how it's been taught to you. And one of the biggest learning in MBA happens from your colleagues, your classmate. My input would be, do not do MBA without work experience, right? So you're in class 10. So when you are in laboratory in physics or chemistry, we used to do practical, right? We used to do practical work. I'm sure you also have laboratory work and practical work in physics and chemistry in class 10. In real life, in MBA, the practical work happens in the offices of work experience. So when we are taught in books without office and work experience, it's very difficult to comprehend. It's much easier to understand because this is human skills. And honestly, human skills and learning how to interact with human beings and the person inside it is much more complex and challenging than the natural skills, the nature, the physics, which is nature is, yes, the sun will come out from this, but human beings will get up every morning in a different way. So I would say my only thing is, if you're doing an MBA, please do some work experience for a couple of years and then do your MBA.
Thank you, sir.
So we'll take one last question.
Hi, sir. I'm Rakshat,
Hi.
studying in first PUC. So, how do you interpret it as the industry of freelancing and gigs, acquiring gigs and doing work for them?
It's good. You have now, it's a beautiful experience that you have. You can do what you want. You can focus in areas of interest to you. So that gives you a lot of freedom. Okay, a lot of way of doing being creative. You miss out on learning the process. you know you miss out on some structural way of business which corporates have. But then when the gig nowadays, this process is coming through the system. So you will have an ERP model, or you will have a monday.com, or you have a zoho.com, which structures the way you work in gig economy and how you interconnect with people and how do you do stuff. So that is there. And but gig helps you to be as creative as possible, gives you the freedom to choose things. And I'm very happy that you have this opportunity at this point of time. We didn't have that opportunity, but yeah, it's a good experience to have. It's a good thing to do if you can do it and you would enjoy doing it. Some people enjoy, some people don't. So if you enjoy doing it, go ahead.
Thank you, sir.
Last, probably another question by Bhuvan of 8th standard. Yes, Bhuvan.
Sir, my
Yes.
name is Bhuvan.
Yes,
So
Bhuvan.
my question is, recently, so big companies like Amazon, Swiggy, Zomato are laying off their staff. Why is this happening?
So basically, Bhuvan, unfortunately, we all these companies are run. There's a structure of shareholders and this thing. I'll maybe one day I'll come and I'll explain, have a chat about you. But what happens is we need to make profit. Okay, profit is what you sell minus all the cost, right? Now, one of the cost is people, the salaries they are giving. It's a fixed cost. If you do not do so much of business, so once the manager or the big boss thinks, oh, he will grow the business, or things are looking very positive, or people have started buying their products, then they start getting more people into it, and they have to pay a salary every month to these people, right? But then the product doesn't sell because maybe the people they were thinking they would buy are not buying. Like they thought all the people who have a car will buy it, but not all the people who have a car is buying Amazon products or this thing. People want, so then they are left with this cost with them. And people, human salaries are a big cost, and then they say, okay, let's cut down the cost. And then they can, complex world of capitalism. Mahipal, Swamiji, help me out explaining capitalism to our young friends. So yeah, so basically it's to make profit. People try to do that, so that the profit is there. So they leave people and then the things. Yeah, don't do you start a company where you will not leave people. They're all part of your team. And it's a very
Thank you, Arnab. It was a wonderful way of making those concepts understand to the young mind. I really appreciate, and we really are very happy for your insights on this.
So thank you. But no, I'm very, this thing that I've been left with this last question.
Arnab, just a minute. Our principal Balaji wants to talk to you. I'll just hand over the mic to him.
Namaste, sir.
Namaste, sir. Namaste.
I have two questions, and I have my children in my mind.
Not as difficult as your students, huh? Your last student, it was bringing in the reality of life. I need to come and talk to him.
My first question is, we teachers believe that some problems can be solved with the help of the brain, and there are a few situations which we can win with the help of our heart. Please suggest few things during which we can amalgamate both and solve the problems. Secondly, multitasking is a huge challenge. In today's society, each and every individual faces this situation. Now, there is a big constraint, that is time. Time cannot be manufactured, it can be squeezed only. So how to face this kind of situation? Please suggest few ideas in connection with multitasking. Thank you, sir.
Sir, you have the big people around you who I will be coming to ask such questions. But I'll tell you my point of view, sir. Sir, I think brain, we cannot multitask. What we can do is do multiple tasks. So it's from one point to the other, right? And then Swamiji can teach us how to manage that from, by control of our brain and this thing. That's his area of expertise. But the fact that people say that we multitask is not something, and that's what I feel. When I sit down and sometimes try very this thing to meditate or something like that, our minds move around the way it is because it does one work and then it does the other work. And that time gap is made shorter by us by doing so many works, and we confuse ourselves as multitasking. And that's my belief. Okay, I may be totally wrong, Swamiji, and you can guide me, and I really need that guidance. The other one, sir, you asked me was
about the amalgamation of head and heart.
Okay.
How can we, process it?
For me, sir, heart is the why question that I put forward. Why you are in this. So when I showed the iceberg, the bottom part of the iceberg showed the part of heart, the limbic thing. That's the one that our brain doesn't understand. It is the reptilian brain that is there where the emotions are, right? It cannot communicate. It does not understand language, but you feel that. And the world is, if you can touch that, that's how you generate business, and it's lifelong relationship. Like Pepsi, what they do, they go on to your youth, the ads that they do. And the MBA people have done all this, and they have come to this conclusion that okay, that's how we approach that. So they touch on your youth, the new generation. Even we drink Pepsi thinking we are young, playing football, and the way they do it, if you see the ads, they affect your behavior, and behavior comes from the heart problem, like the heart part, which we cannot articulate. The upper part, which we can articulate, and have the sight. If you go back to, let me see if I have that slide. I'll just show that slide again. So this slide we were talking about. So this is the implicit need, is the heart, the limbic thing, the reptilian brain has it, the emotions, the feeling that you have. And the explicit needs is where your head works. You can do your maths here, you can have your rational thinking and what it is. And the business tries to approach here to have that emotional connect. And once you can break over to this part, the lower part, the implicit need part, then you have a willing solution. The logic doesn't apply. Everything works that way. Mix some, I don't know, does it mix my thoughts with you? I don't know. Your thoughts or anything you have?
It's very apt, sir. And we feel that heart is the base for brain or head, whatever you call it as. So when you start thinking from your heart, then brain works efficiently and gives likable solutions.
So that's why I started with why. Why will come from your heart. Why you are doing this. Why you want to be in this business. Because unless you solve that why part, the one that is on the top of the iceberg, the explicit one, you can have rational and logical understanding there. But your emotion and your behavior comes from the why part, and that is the heart part of it.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Namaste.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you, Swamiji, for giving me this opportunity. I'm so honored and blessed. And especially for the students' question of what I will come up. Maybe one day I'll come and explain to them the reality.
We'll be happy to have you here. Definitely, we'll host a offline program with you. I'll just come to the concluding remarks. Our Naren will present it.
Thank you, sir. That was a wonderful talk. Sir started his talk by basics of entrepreneurship and then educating us about how questioning will help in generating ideas and how innovation is not just inventing a new thing, but also subtracting or adding to something that already exists and can be an innovation. Now, I would like to specially thank the Media Lab department, the AVT department, and the IEI cell for making this session a great success. Thank you for one and all present over here, and especially for the guest speaker, Mr. Arnab Sengupta, for such a wonderful talk. Now, we would like to end the session with Shanti Mantra.
Om पूर्णमादः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरिः ॐ तत्सत् श्रीरामकृष्णार्पणमस्तु
Thank you, students. Thank you.
Thank you, Arnab ji.
Thank you. Thank you. I'll leave now. Bye-bye.
The review sheets will be collected after the first night study and in the second night study.